Welcome to the Bold Analysis. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. There is a discourse I want us to interrogate here. The President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Arap Ruto, in the recent weeks has gone in public and in what I want to call hope peddling, has been promising the country of a better future and at the same time warning naysayers that he will shame them. The desperation of the statement, the hope hawking, and the influence peddling by the president have seen him profile those he considers as critics as people, devils, and even to the worst, calling some of his critics stupid. I want us to look at this. When you walk to matatus, when you're in matatus, when you go to the market centers and informal spaces when wazees are taking their evening drink, there is a question that pops up and Kenyans ask, is it us who don't understand the president, or is the president doing things that members of public, or are the public wrong and the president is right? So in this podcast, I'm going to explain and demonstrate to you in details why the public are not buying William Ruto's dream pitch. He's pitching a dream, and I want you to listen to the way he spoke in this Taita Taveta church.
I want to tell the people of Kenya, this country is going to succeed. And we will assume the agents and the prophets of doom. We are going to succeed as a nation. Kenya hii itafaulu. Barabara zetu tumezipangia vizuri. Mpango yetu ya social health ama taifa care inasonga vizuri. Mpango yetu ya affordable housing imeshika kasi. Mpango yetu ya masoko inaendelea vizuri. And I am confident we are going to transform our country. We are going to change Kenya. And we will shame the devil.
The question is this: are we all wrong and the president is right? Or are we all right but the president is wrong? I will demonstrate to you. Just keep those two statements in your mind. Before we get deep into this, allow me ask you to subscribe to our channel. We're heading to 100,000 subscribers. We are 4,600 shy of 100,000. So kindly subscribe. Subscription is absolutely free. In this channel, we look at deep politics. Apart from the other political developments for politicians, we look at policies. We look at narratives. We look at developments. And I believe that not all the channels do that. So if you're a member of the Bold, now there is a difference here. Not just the euphoria. We look at, like this is a critical analysis. This one no one is gonna look at. Are you moving your items from this town to upcountry? Are you relocating your office items? What are you moving from one place to the other? In your treasures, you need to work with top-mark movers. They're the best in logistics, moving one place to the other. Top-mark movers, in partnership with the Bold Podcast, presents you that great opportunity for you to get affordable rates, professional services, and very reliable, so as you want to move your treasures from one place to the other, especially during this festive season. Contact top-mark movers here, 0719 17 43 93, and I can trust you. I can guarantee the safety and professional services that you need. Unataka kuhama kutoka nyumba hii ile nyumba ingine, unataka kuchange nyumba hii Christmas, unataka kubeba vitu zingine, unataka kupeleka mahali, you need to contact Topmark. Now, let's get it here. And I want us to get to understand this thing pole pole. Caleb Hamisi, and I really like the boldness that Caleb, this about MP did. Caleb Hamisi was being interviewed by Eric Sekolia, and he confessed that for years that he has been supporting Raila Odinga, he's never seen that much of the hate, the hatred that Kenyans don't even want Raila to be the chairman of Cattle Dip. What Caleb Hamisi is talking about here is the venom that Raila Odinga has received.
I've been a Raila supporter since I joined politics.
Yes.
I think the only other person I've supported other than Raila is Honorable Peter Kenneth, because of the starry ties we have with him, and because he's the one who introduced me to politics. Any other person other than Peter Kenneth, I've always been with Raila Odinga, even when nobody from my constituency or county could not even utter the name Raila Odinga. Because I believed in his ideals, philosophy, ideologies of change in this country. I believed in the ideals of the party. And I also believed that this country needed a paradigm shift in terms of the true tribal hegemony kind of leadership. Now, Raila represented that kind of change. In not any other time in history have I ever observed, witnessed, seen, and encountered such hatred and venom against Raila than now. I've never witnessed at a time when Kenyans can hate Baba so bitterly to a point that they don't even want him to win anything, including the chairman of not even AU. They don't want even him to, even the chairman of Cattle Dip. They'll not even want Raila to win that seat. That kind of hatred I've never witnessed. But I understand it's a hatred that is transferred from Ruto. It is a hatred that was championed towards Ruto. There is a time there was a lot of grandiose in the government. Bravado. People are just, buying watches, going outside with, chartered plane, private plane with taxpayers' money. And they're boasting around it. And the Kenyans were suffering. People are just introducing policies and they are passed in parliament. A parliament that was so much compromised that anything that a president wants can pass. So Kenyans felt that this is not the government we thought it's going to be.
I have chosen to, of course, use the observation of Caleb Hamisi, because I really like the fact that he actually completed the equation. Raila Odinga inherited this venom from President Ruto. This venom was inherited from President Ruto. And that is why I agree. Sometimes when people say Raila saved Ruto, those people are not wrong. Raila saved Ruto from a stormy revolution that was too strong, and that was going to consume him before the end of 2024. The storm was too strong, so Raila deflated it. So if Caleb is saying that Raila is hated, for the first time anaona Raila amechukiwa, is hated since he joined Raila's camp, then the president needs to listen to that video and understand, okay, kama Raila anachukiwa hivo for working, and remember the turning point was, I'm going to support President Ruto, then that means that I am too hated. I think, the president have gotten nguvu sometimes ya kuongea, ku attack, this and that, because the Raila team are with him. So that should actually confirm that probably what he sees as critics now is just some handful. If Raila would have been the other side, Ruto would be suffocating now. Now that was to confirm that I said, I was using that to confirm that it's not just a matter of, it is not just a matter of naysayers, as he's saying. And people that don't, there are several people that don't believe in him. And these are the people that are attacking Raila Odinga because of Raila Odinga's association with him. Now, what has brought us here? What has brought us here? For quite some time, we've been telling the president that he's the enemy of, he's his own enemy. And the question of, if our wote wanapinga, if you're trying all this and it's not working, is it us who are wrong, or it is you who is wrong? Because sometimes in conflict, someone says, in conflict, the best way to solve a conflict, if you guys are in conflict, and it is of your interest for it to be solved, then the first thing, the first person, you seed the ground. When you seed ground, you make your opponent, the other person on the other end, very vulnerable. So that is why I want us to seed ground. Let us seed ground that the public is wrong. The public don't understand. Then, listen to this. So we don't understand. But the president need to look at these videos and see, hizi vitu nimepromise, are they there?
Tutahakikisha ya kwamba tunaweka usafi katika hii mto. Mpaka iwe ni mahali pazuri, tuweke samaki na tuhakikisha kwamba mto huu iko na maji, watoto wetu waweze kutumia kwa njia ya sawasawa. Kanairo mko sawa? Na hiyo mpango sio ya Nairobi peke yake. Hiyo mpango ni ya Nairobi. Tunaanza hapa Nairobi tarehe 1 mwezi wa 10. Tutaenda katika miji 4 ya Kenya: Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, Nakuru katika awamu ya 2. Alafu kabla ya Disemba tutafikisha hii mpango katika kila kaunti ya taifa letu la Kenya. Na vijana 200,000 Kenya mzima watapata ajira katika hii mpango ya climate work.
Ruto lies another time, for that is his nature. Shindwe.
Kila nyumba, kila soko, kila shule kupiga simu hautahitaji tena bundles. Unajua watu wengi wanahangaika na bundles, bundles. Kwa sababu sasa tuna deploy internet. Simu unakuwa unapiga free of charge. Simu haitakuwa inakatika kwa sababu sasa tutakuwa tumedeploy internet.
I'm pleased to announce that 5 stadia will be complete by April.
The Bible says, "Thou shalt not lie." When the president stands there,
Tutateremsha bei ya stima pale kwa charging station ya pikipiki zenu mpaka $5, which is about 8 shillings. Mmenielewa? Mumeshikanisha hii maneno? Tuko pamoja?
For the record, Kenya Kwanza will not continue the borrowing spree that we have seen that has ballooned our debt. In the last 5 years alone, close to 7 trillion Kenya shillings has been borrowed.
Na mimi nataka niwaambie hivi, serikali ya Kenya hakuna hata tax moja tumeongeza. Na hakuna hata tax itaongezwa. Mtaona katika budget yetu ya mwezi wa 6 tutakuwa tunapunguza taxes. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie Wakenya, ile Galana ndani ya miezi 2-3 nitaanza kujenga damu pale Galana. Na tayari kuanzia hii Februari zile ekari 10,000 ambazo tayari tulikuwa tumeifanya kama model farm 10,000 acres na iko na mpaka na pivot, hapo tutaanza kuzalisha chakula mwaka huu.
Are they there? That's been a problem. And I want to explain why Kenyans don't seem to buy I will change Kenya dream. What is making it? Let me tell the president. The reason why the masses can't buy I will change Kenya dream. You have an inefficient public, in fact you have manufactured an inefficient public sector. I want to explain, allow me to take some time and explain this point. What do I say that the president have manufactured an inefficient public sector? Let me not go far. Let me use two sectors. Education sector and health sector. I believe these ones are very critical to mwananchi. In education sector, this year, we have seen teachers go on strike, demanding pay rise. That has caused disruption in education. In education sector, we've seen the rollout of the new education funding model in universities. That was touted as the game changer, that now the public universities will no longer have the debts. The debts will no longer be there. It caused disruptions. Students protested. Students said it's not working. Some parents were not able to take their children to universities because of that. You have a chaotic and inefficient education sector, very inefficient to the core. Just during the KCSE examinations, massive cheating. Massive cheating. Now, when that can't work, people tend to go for the private sector. Now, these two areas are close to people's heart. You have an inefficient. That education funding model that was rolled out, it faced hostility until to some point it was suspended. Look at the health. I said I'm not going to say so many. I'm just going to look at two. Look at the health sector. Now, there was that transition from NHIF to SHA. That transition was touted as the game changer. Now, something happened. When you transited, when you did that transition, it was done on paper. But in real software, the public university, the private hospitals had not been enrolled, had not been integrated, and the people moved with outstanding bills. And the moment that transition was announced, people went to the hospitals, they could not find drugs. They could not be treated. They demanded cash. So when they go to the public hospitals, are overcrowded. It is neither working. The government should be the first investor. If you look at the public transport, it isn't working. Traffic all over. So I think this has been a problem. That is why, and that is why I've chosen public sector, because majority of people at the lower side of the pyramid depend on public. The Mama Lucy Hospital, the Mbagathi, the Pumwani. That is where we're going to find hustler. You're not going to find any hustler in Aga Khan, in Mpisha. No, hautapata huko. Just a week ago, one of my close relatives was actually my wife. So we went to Mpisha. Nakwambia. And after that, we had made an attempt in one of the public hospitals I should not mention. Ile service tulipata hapa haraka, within, we're done. Huko tulienda, another public one. I don't even want to explain. You have an inefficient public sector. Now, something that Kenyans are not paying the brain. Kenya Kwanza made a blunder. Government media jeopardy. Sometime last year, I think 2 years ago, after Kenya Kwanza came to government, they said that the media was against them. So in an attempt to limit, to punish media, they went and put all government advertisements in one newspaper, known as The Star. And then they said the other broadcast one should now go to KBC. But you will realize that on the SHA, on several other projects they've been rolling, they've been trying to sneak their experts to this other mainstream media. Now, what happened is this. The media then had to be driven by numbers. Because if government is the largest advertiser, by the way, I've worked in Standard, I've worked in some of these stations. The largest advertiser is government. When government withdraws advertisement from this, and that is why you see the newspapers are too brave. They cannot tell the government narrative. They're not telling that government narrative because, number one, when they owe allegiance to the people, the numbers, or rather the modus operandi, or rather the model of operation in the media houses is now based on the numbers and the audience preference. I can tell you, the media can make the country believe what Ruto is saying, if they choose to. But no one is telling the government narrative. It's telling the government narrative because that is not what people want to hear. That is what people don't want to hear. And the media have chosen that path that nikimwambia he will be glued to our screen and I'll be able to share this with our advertisers and get my clicks and get my deals. Now, if we made a mistake on that, and no media house, apart from that star, is telling the government story. I may be wrong on that, but I wish you see me as being right. The other issue is disapproval rating is high. Okay? And there is something, I want to say this. Not everything that Ruto says is wrong. By the way, let's be fair. Not everything that Ruto says is wrong. When he says that under SHA we have 3 projects, and one is for chronic and critical health, so that no one will go to India because government will be able to cover. That is not wrong. But the disapproval rate is high. Disapproval rate is, out of 10 people, how many things do people reject? Now that rate is high. And that is what is suffering. Lastly, I think the transformative changes are riddled with the deep interest. Let me use one example. The government has failed to explain. We can only use 700 million to upgrade the NHIF system. Why are we spending 104 billion for that share? Surely. That question, no one is, when you ask experts, State Department, the CS, no one is giving an answer to the riddling of that question. Why are you spending 104 billion? Where are we getting that money? 104 billion for an ICT system while hospitals level 3 and level 4 do not have drugs. The president needs to interrogate. It is not, is it all of us who are wrong and is right? And why Kenyans not buying I will change Kenya page? Thank you.